cheese moon. A breathtaking, seemingly infinite expanse of porous, bright yellow plastic, stretching endlessly beneath a majestic canopy of brilliant, unblinking stars. It is a quiet, untouched world. And what better way for our intrepid heroes to conquer this vast, silent alien landscape than with a custom-built, heavily modified off-road moon buggy? With a confident stretch of his arms and a sharp, satisfying plastic crack of his knuckles, Master Builder Grog gets right to work. In a dazzling high-speed blur of flying white and light bluish-gray Technic beams, the rover's rugged chassis miraculously snaps together. Playing the perfect heavy-lifting assistant, REXY uses his gleaming silver-armored tail to carefully pass over 4 incredibly massive, deep-treaded rubber balloon tires. With a final, echoing smack of his trusty gray wrench, Grog locks the very last oversized wheel onto the axle. The ultimate lunar rover is complete! It is a masterpiece of minifigure engineering. Eager to test his creation, Grog leaps into the front driver's seat. The Technic Spring suspension yields with a smooth, bouncy squeak. He flashes a confident, highly professional thumbs up. The tension is absolutely perfect. Now, it's time for his massive co-pilot to board. REXY waddles over, eyeing the incredibly tiny back seat. He scratches his heavy jaw through his glass helmet, shrugs his little red shoulders, and lifts a massive white-plated toe, carefully wedging his colossal brick-heavy bottom into the rear compartment. Screech! The unforgiving, undeniable physics of a multi-hundred brick Tyrannosaurus Rex instantly take over. The heavy-duty rear suspension is completely and utterly crushed flat against the chassis, groaning under the immense weight. The sheer concentrated mass acts like a violent, unstoppable seesaw, instantly launching the entire front half of the buggy high into the air. The rover pops a massive, permanent, 45-degree wheelie. Grog is thrown violently flat against his seat, his bronze helmet pointing straight up at the Milky Way, his little yellow feet dangling completely uselessly over the pedals. He peeks frantically over his shoulder. REXY is completely spilling out of the back seat, his giant armored tail dragging heavily in the yellow lunar dust. But the dinosaur just flashes a pair of tiny thumbs up, an enormous toothy grin plastered across his face. He is absolutely thrilled. He thinks this is how the beetle is supposed to look. Grog lets out a heavy, silent sigh, his shoulders slumping as he slaps the plastic dashboard in defeat. There is no getting the big guy out now. Adjusting his grip with a look of pure, hardcore racing determination, Grog violently yanks the Technic gear shifter. In his mind, he is a champion. The imaginary engine roars to life with the deafening, aggressive, ear-splitting growl of a turbocharged V-TAM supercar. The massive rear tires spin wildly, kicking up a magnificent, blinding storm of yellow lunar dust. He floors the gas. The buggy violently launches forward and... boing! Welcome to low gravity. Instead of shooting across the cratered plains like a sleek rocket, the massive buggy simply bounces high into the air, floating forward at a painfully slow, agonizingly gentle snail's pace. Grog's face is a mask of pure, adrenaline-fueled intensity. He white-knuckles the steering wheel, aggressively cranking it left and right like a professional rally driver navigating a hairpin turn. But with the front wheels pointing straight at the distant stars, his furious steering does absolutely, hilariously nothing. Boing! The buggy hits the ground, the rear tires catching the dirt for a fraction of a second, before lazily, softly bouncing right back up into the vacuum. It is a hilariously pathetic, infuriatingly slow sine wave of anti-speed. In the back seat, however, REXY is having the absolute time of his life. He throws his tiny arms high into the air, his jaws wide open in a silent roar of pure, unadulterated joy as he rides the galaxy's slowest roller coaster. Every single time his heavy silver-plated tail smacks the ground, it acts like a giant mechanical springboard, sending them bouncing even higher into the starry void. Epic, high-octane heavy metal racing music in the background, hilariously contrasting with the visual of the buggy drifting through the air like a sleepy, overinflated balloon. Down below on the yellow surface, a tiny space beetle, constructed from a single black 1x1 plate, casually crawls past them. It actually stops its journey, turns its little head to look up at the speeding, roaring buggy with total undeniable disrespect, and then easily outpaces them, leaving our fierce explorers in the dust. Suddenly, Grog leans up in his seat, his dotted eyes widening in horror. Dead ahead, right in their bouncy, uncontrollable flight path, the ground simply falls away. A massive gaping crater yawns open before them. Panicking, Grog stomps on the emergency brake with all his might. The brake pads lock perfectly, but they only connect to the front wheels, which are still uselessly spinning 3 feet in the air. They aren't slowing down. Grog pulls at his bronze helmet, screaming in silent, wide-eyed terror as the giant bottomless chasm rapidly approaches. But REXY isn't worried in the slightest. He just taps his frantic friend's shoulder and gives a confident, heavy nod. As the bouncing buggy approaches the absolute crumbling edge of the cliff, REXY uses his massive thighs to slam his entire weight down into the seat, violently whipping his armored tail against the yellow ground. Crack! The colossal bounce launches the moon buggy incredibly high over the crater. Instantly, the frantic, loud rock music cuts out, replaced by a soaring, majestic, operatic symphony. It is a beautiful, ultra-slow motion ballad of plastic and rubber. The buggy gracefully, peacefully rotates high over the terrifying abyss. The brilliant starlight catches the deep treads of the tires, the pearl gold finish of Grog's helmet, and the gleaming metallic silver of REXY's tail. Realizing they are perfectly safe, Grog finally lets go of the useless steering wheel. He spreads his arms wide, the white daisy on his helmet fully blooming in the zero-gravity hang time. They aren't driving anymore. They are truly flying. Slowly, gently, like a falling leaf, the buggy descends toward the opposite edge of the chasm. The heavy rear shocks hit the yellow dirt first, compressing perfectly, absorbing the massive landing with a soft squeak. The front wheels finally, gently tap down against the studs. A flawless 10 out of 10 touchdown. Grog completely collapses over the steering wheel, utterly exhausted from the most stressful, agonizingly slow-motion race of his entire life. As the yellow dust settles around them, REXY hops out of the back, stretching his giant steep legs. He waddles to the front and happily taps Grog's helmet. Grog aggressively waves him off, silently swearing to the cosmos that he will never, ever drive that ridiculous bouncy contraption again. But REXY just smiles gently. He extends his tiny hand, pointing specifically toward the dark, shadowed edge of the crater they just jumped. Grog slowly turns his head. Hidden just inside the shadowy lip of the abyss, completely protected from the harsh light of the stars, is a breathtaking sight. A magnificent glowing crystal flower constructed entirely from translucent neon green bricks. It is a masterpiece of cosmic geometry, casting a mesmerizing, ethereal, magical light across Grog's bronze visor and REXY's red scales. Grog slowly steps out of the buggy, dropping to one knee in absolute awe. He reaches out a trembling yellow hand, then gently pulls it back, not wanting to disturb the universe's fragile masterpiece. REXY lowers his massive, heavy head, his dark printed eyes reflecting the neon glow of the alien flora. Grog looks up at his giant friend, a profound, beautiful realization softening his face. He smiles, a genuine warm smile. If they hadn't popped that ridiculous wheelie, if they had actually zoomed past at lightning speed like a real functioning race car, blinded by speed and dust, they would have completely missed it. Sometimes, the slowest, clunkiest journey leads to the most beautiful destinations. The two best friends sit down in the soft yellow dust next to their oversized, ridiculous moon buggy, quietly admiring the glowing crystal in the dark, vast, beautiful silence of space as the camera slowly pulls back,
I can't believe
leaving
the
them to their
flower's glow
quiet,
is gone.
glowing moment. The translucent green text, end of episode Sans We Bon, materializes in the starry sky, lingering for a moment before the scene gently fades to absolute black. Snap! A crisp circular spotlight punches through the pitch-black screen, illuminating a pure white baseplate right in the dead center. The tiny, rhythmic click-clack of miniature plastic footsteps echoes out in the void. Zippy, the glossy black Lego ant, strolls casually and confidently into the spotlight. He looks straight into the lens, his big, innocent black eyes blinking sweetly. Rearing up, Zippy stands firmly and proudly on his two hind legs. With his front legs, he hoists a highly detailed, brilliant YouTube red tile high into the air. It is crisply printed with the words "Like but subscribe" in stark, bold white lettering. Zippy nods his head furiously in a blur of stop-motion excitement, lets out an incredibly cute, joyful squeak, and with a sharp, echoing click, the spotlight snaps off.